What's going on, everybody? My name's Dustin. I run a motorcycle repair and fab shop called Our Cycles in Parkman, Ohio. I do everything from factory softails to custom frames to full custom choppers. I also do springers and springer front ends. This here is one of my springers. But anyway, I do all this because there's a lot of information on YouTube that I can't, like if I come across something that I can't find, I throw my video up there so everybody's got some diagnostic tools. This one, we're working on a 05 Royal Star 1300. I don't know what the year ranges are, but if you've got a Royal Star 1300 with charging issues, this is the info you're looking for. Came in not charging. I couldn't find any info on where the charging system was or how it's run or any diagnostics on YouTube. So I'm going to throw my video up there. I did a little bit more than is required. So I'm going to walk you through where everything's at and how to test it. All right. Firstly is the Regulator Rectifier. Now, Regulator Rectifier is under here. Okay, it's right underneath your radiator, right there. It's held in by 2 bolts. All right, you disconnect this. This just plugs in right here, just like that. It's got a little push connector on the back, so just pinch it, pull down, and you got 5 pins in here. This middle one is not used. So what are these? The 3 white wires are your stator wires. So those run from your stator back to another plug over there and then run up to here. So AC voltage comes in these 3 wires. This black wire back here is ground and the red wire is your charging wire. This ended up being, this was the problem on this particular bike. The red and black wires were corroded. Not corroded, but the contacts had corrosion on them. It wasn't letting voltage come out of the regulator rectifier. Hit it with some dielectric cleaner, plugged it back in, and it fired up. But we did all the other tests just to double check and make sure. So plug this back in, goes right there. Didn't click. I'm gonna make sure it clicks. There it goes. Okay, clicked in. Okay, now we're on the other side of the bike. I pulled all these covers off. I don't think you need to pull them off, but you do need to pull off this little plastic cover. In order to do that, you have to remove the passenger peg. So we got that off, and behind there, there's this little thing. It's got 2 fuses on either side. I'll try to zoom in a little bit. Okay, it's got 2 fuses on either, shaky ass camera. 2 fuses on either side, and then you've got your main power wire that runs to your starter here, and your main power input is on the other side. It's kind of hard to see, but that red wire is right here. So, let's see if we can do this. This is a bitch, so I'm probably gonna have to shut the camera off, but you're just gonna disconnect this little terminal right here, or this pin, 4-pin connector. So disconnect that, make sure your fuses aren't blown. They're 30 amp fuses. I'll disconnect that, be right back. All right, got that disconnected. Now you've got 2 red wires, a blue, and then a 3rd red, or 2 thick red wires and then a smaller red in the back. The blue and red are for your starter. You don't need, unless you're having starter issues, you don't need to test those. The red wire on the left goes to your stator up there. So with this disconnected, we're going to test continuity on this wire, and we're also going to test continuity on the stator. All right, so it's a bit of a stretch to get, your leads to where you need to go. So I just took a piece of wire. I got a male connector on there, plugged it in. Again, it's the left wire. So this is the front where it connects in. So I've got a male lead plugged in there. Runs to the black wire of my multimeter. And my red wire is up there. We'll swing around. I just got the red wire plugged into the red wire coming off of the regulator rectifier. There we go. Touch that. Where you at? There we go. And should get less than one. This is a shitty multimeter. It's not really that great, so probably not a good reading. But the last time I tested it, yeah, there we go, half ohm. So half an ohm should be under one. If you have a good reader, it's probably going to be 0 or close to 0, but it is a pretty good distance of wire. Okay, next, we're with everything still disconnected, we're going to test our stator. So we're going to make sure that the stator wires don't have any breaks in them. They're not fucked up in any way. So you're just going to take one lead and touch one stator plug, and the other lead and touch the other. Again, you should get close to 0. This was just reading 0.3, and now it's reading 0.7. It's just hard to do with one hand. Then you just check all 3. You want all 3 to give you pretty close to a 0 resistance. And then lastly, you want to check your ground wire, this black one here. You just take one lead, put it in there, and then the other lead, touch it to ground. If you've got no resistance there, you got good ground. Once you check all that and everything's coming back zeros, you can plug this back in. Now, you can test the regulator rectifier by itself. I don't ever do that. I just eliminate all the other possibilities and then just go with the regulator rectifier, because I don't trust my electrical diagnostics have a point of stopping, and when I'm testing internal components on a regulator rectifier, that's where they stop. So that's where they're going to stop. All right, now we got that plugged back in. We've got the regulator rectifier plugged back in. Okay, now the last piece of the puzzle is, this is the part that I could not find to save my life. Those 3 white wires right there, those are your stator wires, okay? In order to test your stator output voltage, we could test it down there, all right, but I wanted to make sure that those wires weren't broken or messed up in any way. So I had to disconnect this anyway, so I just tested here. Again, you do not have to do that, but if you're getting any resistance on your white wires, make sure that those are connected and not corroded. They're a bitch to get to. That's why I had to pull the battery and the battery box and the CDI in order to get to the plug, just so I could unplug them. But yeah, you do not have to do that. So let's, we'll unplug the regulator rectifier and I'll show you how to test the stator. Okay, we got our regulator rectifier unplugged again. We're working with these 3 white wires back here. I've got one lead connected to one lead connected to the other, and these alligator clips just make it easy for me to show you guys. You're gonna set your multimeter to AC amps. We're gonna set it to 200 AC volts. AC is the wavy line. This right there, that's DC. AC. All right, we got the battery just half-ass connected. Yamaha gives you barely enough wire to fucking reconnect your battery. So we got it half-ass connected. We've got our multimeter set to AC voltage. I'm just gonna set this up here so we can see it. And you're gonna come over here and you're gonna fire the bike up. All right. Maybe. Choke it. So we know that the AC voltage, or we know we have AC voltage being output from the stator, so the stator is good. Now, you're going to want to check all 3 pins, and you're going to want to switch those leads up just to make sure that each pin has voltage coming out of it. And then finally, after you reconnected everything, everything's coming back good, you can safely assume that it's your regulator rectifier, but make sure you come back, plug everything back in the way that it was before, fire the bike up one more time, because it could have just been some corroded contacts. That's what this bike ended up being. Good to go. I hope this helps somebody. I'm going to do everything I can to tag everybody who might need this information. Thanks for watching.